Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the woods of Idaho. Jeremy S. from T-Tag here, thetruthaboutguns.com. And today I have something a little bit different, at least for this channel. It is a full power cartridge battle rifle. This is the Century Arms C308, chambered in .308 Winchester or 7.62 by 51. This thing is not unlike an AK-47 in that it is all stamped and bent steel, welded together in various places. What makes the C308 unique among the set-me rifles, that H&K G3 style rifle, is that the lower receiver here is actually polymer. What you do get with polymer is low cost, plus some of the other ways that this is made are obviously inexpensive compared to other ways to manufacture a firearm. And indeed, especially for a set-me or any .308 rifle, the MSRP on this guy is like 650 bucks. So that's actually extremely cheap. It's very, very inexpensive for a rifle of its kind. As you can see, the thing is large. It's fairly heavy. All this forend is nice and sleek. But you know, let's go inside to do a bit of a tabletop on it. While I'm out here, I'm just gonna shoot the thing. All right, let's go in for a little close-up. You know, to cut right to brass tacks, Century Arms tried a set-me a few years ago and it was hit or miss. The entire thing was made of surplus parts and you're kind of stacking tolerances when you just mash all those things together. Some of the rifles were great, some of the rifles were junk, and the reputation was damaged, obviously. This time around, they are taking a different approach and they've actually paired with a company that has a very, very good reputation for quality, which is PTR Industries out of the East Coast. And PTR makes this entire lower trigger housing and the entire trigger group inside. It makes the upper receiver here, this entire receiver, and the front, and it makes the barrel as well, this 18-inch barrel. So we've replaced a lot of the crucial parts with brand new US manufactured parts, and the end result is a gun that actually does run very, very well. One thing that is a huge plus, a huge and important note, a big bonus, is this Picatinny rail that's welded on top of the receiver. Obviously, this makes mounting any sort of optic really, really easy. The set-me G3 HK91 rifles are notoriously difficult to put a scope on, and they have solved this by adding a rail right onto the receiver for you. This really makes this rifle a lot more universal for different types of uses than your standard one, which is basically just fixed with iron sights. Now, this has set-me style sights in it, not HKG3 sights, which would have that rotating barrel on the back. Instead, this one has 4 different apertures that you can rotate this, flip it, to get those different apertures. It is open and marked with a 1 for 100 yards. You've got a 2 for 200 yards, a 3, and a 4. Not only do these apertures get smaller to make your point of aim more precise, but they also move up or down to adjust elevation appropriately. Now, as this is a roller locker delayed blowback gun, there is no gas system. Up on the front here, it looks like this might be an adjustable gas block, but it is not. This actually pulls out, and inside is a cleaning kit like you see in the photo. The rest of what's up here is just your operating rod, your charging handle, which you flip up, and then you pull rearwards to charge the gun. Sling point up here, and this is Century Arms Chevron muzzle brake, and this gun is threaded 5/8 by 24, your standard US 30 caliber thread pitch, which is great because any .308 muzzle brake or other muzzle device will fit on this guy like you might use on an AR-10. Disassembly is pretty easy. These 2 pins on the rear just push straight out. They're held by a little spring. Sometimes I can do it by hand. This one comes out nicely, and you can actually store them in the buttstock in these holes so you don't lose them. This one has been a pain in the butt. There we go. What are keys for, right? Alright, now this just pulls out the back. There is your entire recoil spring, all integral in this buttstock, which, by the way, is beautiful. I know this is one of those surplus pieces that they've used, but the condition is absolutely excellent. The trigger housing now just pulls down and off. The bolt may just drop out of the rear if you lift it up, but you can use the charging handle to push it out the back. There you go, that's it. That is field stripped. And that's about it on the close-up. Let's check out the trigger real quick, and we'll get back out to the woods, do some 100-yard accuracy testing, and some more shooting for fun. Okay, at best, this is a battle trigger. It's about 12.5 pounds. There is lots of squishy, horrible take-up. Now we're against the sear. Not a bad break, actually, once you get there. Reset. Right there, you don't really hear or feel much, but it's there. And a decent break. If you can actually ride that reset, you don't have to worry about all of that take-up. And it can be fired pretty quickly. So if you're all the way off, and you've got just that gross take-up. Click. Not horrible for a 1950s battle rifle.
Wolverines! You know, the funny thing, the movie was actually filmed like 20 miles from here. You know, ergonomically, this thing is not exactly a dream. The safety, it's a little sticky, putting it up, down, not the easiest. The mag release, it's out of reach of my finger by about a centimeter. It's just too far. Now, if I do move my hand, it's hard to push because of that awkward reach. And the mags take a little work to get in and out. Probably what will be hardest for most people is that this charging handle is really far up there. When I'm 6 feet tall, if I have this on my shoulder, reaching that is a full extension. Now, once you get a hold of it, racking it, it's not easy. There's some force behind that bolt. So I am going to shoot the C308 for accuracy, see what kind of groups it can make at 100 yards. We're going to do 5-shot groups. I have sighted in the Lucid L5 scope, which I just did a review on. You can see it here. 5 shots each, 100 yards. See how they do. Right. You know, my FFL and I had kind of a little bet. He was thinking maybe 2-inch groups out of this gun. I thought, you know, it's a battle rifle, like 5-inch groups, especially at this price range. I think if it shoots 5-inch groups, I'll be happy. At least with the Brown Bear. I don't think that was 5 inches. I think it was a little more. Let's try the other one, see maybe it likes a heavier bullet better. Alright, let's check out the damage. You know, I think my prediction of 5 MOA wasn't so bad after all. Top left there is Brown Bear,
top right is Colt, middle is Hotshot, which actually did put in the best group of all of them, and the bottom right there is the Australian Outback.
As usual, thank you for joining me out in the woods. The C308 proved to be a ton of fun. I had one feeding hiccup right off the bat, and since then, nothing. It's been running like a champ with 2 different types of steel ammo, lacquered and nickel plated at 2 different weights, and 2 different types of brass ammo. I ran just over 100 rounds through it from the bench, running around playing. A ton of fun. It shoots somewhat straight. Again, battle rifle, budget battle rifle. So it's certainly not a target gun, but it's not marketed as a target gun. It's not built to be a target gun. If you're looking for something for, maybe excessive for the zombies, but that little Wolverines joke, the North Koreans attack and you need a battle rifle and a major caliber like 308 or 7.62 by 51, it'll run either. This, not a bad choice if you're on a budget. Sure, I like an AR-10 a little bit better. They shoot softer, they're a little more accurate, they're lighter, more modern, but they cost upwards of 3 times as much. These magazines, these surplus, H&K G3 magazines are inexpensive. The rifle came with 2 20-round magazines and 1 5-round, which you can use for shooting off of a bipod arrest or for hunting regulations and such. I'm not personally a fan of the whole stamped steel and welded thing. I don't own an AK. I don't mind them. I don't mind this. It's just not exactly my cup of tea. But honestly, it's better than I expected. The thing shot better than I expected. It balances better than I would have expected, especially with this giant long barrel. Overall, it's fine. The only complaint really, 2. 1, battle rifle, so the trigger's terrible. There's some gritty take up. Then you get up against the wall. The break itself is actually pretty clean, and then there's no reset. I mean, you let your finger out, you can't tell if it's reset or not. The bolt doesn't lock back on empty, so you can't tell if it's empty or not. And the other gripe is that, it's basically made for a gorilla. I can't reach that magazine release. I can barely reach the charging handle when it's all the way forward. It's way the heck out there, and man, it takes some force to bring it back too. If you are not a full-grown man, operating this weapon is going to be very difficult. The other thing in terms of controls, the safety, I think because it's on a polymer receiver and it's fit pretty tightly, the ball, like the ball bearing that's under it, is supposed to act as a detent. Between the 2 holes for the detent, it's just sticky. It feels a little smoother than when I first got it. Of course, that ball is working a groove into the receiver already. I'm sure it'll probably smooth up over time, but I'm not totally confident that it will lock in place as well as it does now. Most set-me's are more like $900. This one coming at $650. Screaming deal. Seems to run. Overall, 308 on a budget. This thing's actually pretty cool. If they get one and just bury it in the backyard for the zombies. For more information, more details, good photographs and such, check out the link in the video description below to thetruthaboutguns.com for the full write-up. As always, thank you for joining me in the woods. Please like and subscribe if you would, and I hope to see you guys next time.